In this video, we are going to be graphing linear equations in point-slope form. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is called point-slope form because you are giving a point and the slope. Remember, the slope is m. And so this is the slope right here. And then your point is the x1 and the y1. Remember, in an ordered pair, it's always x comma y. And so your x comes first and your y comes second. In this equation, notice how we are subtracting the point. Notice here how I don't have that negative sign. So you're always doing the opposite. So if this number is negative, it will be a positive. If this number is positive, then it will be a negative. And that's because of the negative sign inside of the formula. Let's look at the steps. So right here, we're given 3 steps to follow. It says to graph a line in point-slope form, follow these steps. Step 1 is to plot the point on the coordinate plane. Step 2 is to use the slope to find other points on the line. And step 3 is to connect the points on the line. So let's look at example 1. It says graph y minus 3 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 1. You always want to begin by plotting the point. Again, the point is x1, y1. So if we're looking at this, this is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So my point, my x1 is 1 and my y1 is 3. Now again, I'm getting this right from my equation. x1 always comes first, y1 always comes second, and that's because our ordered pairs is of the form x comma y. I had to change the sign. This one was negative. I had to change the sign because there's a negative in the formula. y1 here is negative 3. I have to change that to a positive 3 because of this negative in the formula. So you always change the sign. I'm going to plot that point. 1, 3 is this point right here. Next, I want to use my slope. The slope is m. Here my slope is negative 2/3. So from this point, I'm going to go down 2 and right 3. So from 1, 3, I'm going to go down 2, right 1, 2, 3. I could also go the other direction, up 2 and left 3. So from this point, up 1, 2, and left 1, 2, 3. Once I have my points, I'm going to connect my points to create a line. Oops, let me just fix that line a little bit. You can use a ruler. And remember that your lines always have arrows on either end. Let's go ahead and look at that again on example 2. On example 2, we have y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 3. So my point is x is going to be 3 and y is going to be 1. Again, you change the signs because there's a negative in the formula. So the point 3, 1 is this point right here. My slope, m, is 2. If it helps you, you can think of this 2 as 2 over 1. So when I use rise over run, That means I'm going to go up 2 and to the right 1. So from this point, up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. I could also go down 2 and to the left 1. So from our 0.31, I could go down 2, left 1. Down 2, left 1. Down 2, left 1. Once I have those points, I can connect them in a line. Remember that lines have arrows on either side. Let's do the same thing on example 3. On example 3, remember that this is in point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. My point is x, comma, y. This always goes first, this always goes second, because your point is always x, comma, y. So x, you gotta change the sign, it's a -3, so it's gonna be a +3. Change the sign of y, that's a +2, so it's gonna become a -2. So I'm gonna pop the point 3, -2. That's my starting point. My slope m is what is in front of my x's. And so that right here is 1/2. Again, I'm going to use rise over run. So I'm going to have 1 over 2. So that means up 1 and right 2. So from our starting point, up 1, right 2. I could also go down 1 and left 2. So from my starting point, down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. Once I have those points, I am going to connect them in a line, and I'm going to make sure that I use my arrows on either end. On our last example, let's go ahead and try this one. My point is always x, comma, y. You gotta change the sign. This 3 is positive, so it's gonna be -3. This 4 is positive, so it's gonna be -4. So -3, -4. Our slope, that's our coefficient in front of our parentheses, is -1. So that means I'm going to go down 1, right 1. I could also go up 1, left 1. Once I have my points, I can connect them in a line. Make sure that you have arrows on either end.